So, 6 years ago, someone had asked this question. Does uncapped FPS really make you faster? Tests were made, and people in the MGO community had agreed that FPS uncapping is cheating. But were they right about them saying that FPS uncapping is cheating? No. But I can understand why. Sure, you're able to shoot faster. Sure, it causes desyncs like this. Even though I didn't fucking use the FPS uncap. But I'm gonna pretend I did anyway. And I can explain why FPS uncapping on MGO is not cheating. Starting with one example. So if you go to your Steam directory, which is program files 86 by default, and go to Steam, user data, your Steam ID. If you have multiple accounts that own Metal Gear Solid The Phantom Pain, you'll have a hard time finding it. And go to these numbers, which is 287700. Go to local, you'll be able to find a file called TPP and graphics config. And you want to go ahead and right click on TPP graphics config. You'll be able to see open with or open as. And you want to press open with, and then you open it as Notepad. And if you did this correctly, you should be able to see something like this. Now if you look over to frame rate control, you'll be able to see that it's on auto. And what you're going to have to do is go to frame rate control, replace auto with variable. And you may ask yourself, what the fuck does variable do? Variable is basically an option that you set that allows you to uncap your FPS instead of the fixed 60 FPS or 30. But let's get back on point. The variable option now allows you to play the MGSV or MGO on uncapped FPS. And now let's ask ourselves this question. If Konami didn't want to uncap our FPS, how would he prevent that? Simple. He just makes the variable command basically an unknown command, and therefore you can't unlock your FPS and you're just forced to use a 60 or 30 FPS cap. But the Konami developers didn't even do that. Instead, they just left it there so that everyone can uncap their FPS. So, the Asando in mgo3 is a pretty cheesy way to stun people and get easier Fultons that way, because you could just spam the Asando and you're able to Fulton people easily because they go down faster, tank or not. But is it cheating though? No. It's just it's just not fun to play against. So just like how everyone can use the Asando as long as they're Enforcer and have the right levels to do so, everyone can go to their files and just unlock their FPS that way by setting the frame rate control to variable. And as we learned, that the variable command was recognized by the Fox engine because Konami developers have intended it. So if you set the frame rate control to variable and you boot up the game, that tells the game, hey, the frame rate control is on variable, so you gotta uncap the FPS, which Fox engine does so by unlimiting the FPS. And as we know, FPS uncapping does not require third-party tools to uncap FPS on MGSV or MGO. So that means if I can uncap my FPS, then so can everyone else. Because as long as I can do it and they both can do it, it's not really cheating. If we look at Fortnite, Call of Duty, Battlefield, Apex Legends, etc., any modern games, you'll be able to see that you're also able to uncap your FPS. So the final conclusion is that FPS uncapping on MGO is not cheating. Just because you refuse to uncap your FPS doesn't mean it's cheating. Thank you for watching this video, and thanks for listening.